Imagine the moment that you realize you've been on autopilot, reacting in ways that don't feel like they belong to you anymore. It's almost like watching an older version of yourself play the lead in your life. You begin to ask questions that unnerve you. Questions like, why do I keep walking into the same walls? Or how did I get stuck here? I'm Mark Roach. Welcome to Transcendent, my platform where we explore authenticity and, if you're open to it, uncover what makes you unique and essential. Fair warning, my perspective might be unsettling. I share from a life shaped not only by highs but lows from across the globe, but also a deep commitment to peeling back the layers of performance that we've all learned to wear. My goal here isn't just to inspire, but to offer an authentic space for those who, like me, grapple with complex PTSD or feel called or simply like they're swimming upstream. If you're feeling misplaced or know someone who is, this may be the place to explore another path. Today, let's talk about crystallizing thinking. Imagine your mind as a vast landscape. Every thought you have carves a tiny path in the soil. The paths you revisit frequently become so well tread they turn into rigid grooves, shaping not just your thoughts, but how you see the world. This is crystallized thinking. It's when repetitive mental patterns harden into absolute truths, dictating how you respond and how you believe you are, often without notice. Crystallized thinking isn't something you need a dictionary to identify. If you hear yourself saying, I always mess this up, or things never work out for me, or even this situation always turns into a disaster, then you know what it is, and you know what power it has over you. But here's the thing, understanding how your thinking crystallizes is the first step toward freeing yourself from it. This mental phenomenon doesn't just emerge from nowhere. It begins with repetition. Picture someone convinced their voice doesn't matter in a group. That belief lodges itself in their mind, reinforces itself every time they hesitate to speak or interpret silence as dismissal. Over time, this collection of moments forms a worldview and a self-view. Speaking up doesn't seem like an option anymore, and the belief starts living in their bones. What follows is a quiet surrender to those patterns, a loop that the person rarely notices, and yet they feel powerless to escape. Crystallized thinking doesn't only limit individuals, and over time it affects the spaces that we share. Teams, communities, even brands can fall victim to their own mental ruts, rejecting change under the pretext of experience or tradition. For leaders saying, this is how we've always done it, this is just another way to strengthen preset boundaries. Presented with something unfamiliar or challenging, they might balk. And the truth is that breakthrough ideas often knock at the back door in disguise. There's an undeniable weight in this kind of thinking. For creatives, its cost is steep. Crystallized thoughts block the kind of experimentation and risk that forge new paths. If you're always steering yourself toward familiar situations, how can you expect extraordinary ones? Leadership, likewise, suffers. Blindly holding on to the myth that confidence comes from rigid certainty that stifles growth. The longer you stay in this cycle, the quieter your world of possibilities becomes. The good news is no thought has to be permanent. Breaking crystallized thinking starts with attention. You need to observe without judgment the repetitive stories spinning through your head, Observe those. What's running on repeat? Why are those self-defeating lines running on repeat? Maybe it's, I'm not the type of person who takes risk, or every time I fail. Pause when you hear these things and ask yourself, who wrote this script? Recognize that your belief is just that, a belief, not a fact. It's the first chisel at the edges of those hardened routines. Second, start questioning the stories that feed the loops. Ask yourself why certain thoughts appear so immovable. If you've spent years thinking, I can't trust people, is there evidence to support that? Or do those feelings belong to the old, maybe unhealed wounds? It's uncomfortable to interrogate those beliefs because they've been your guide. But growth often demands discomfort. Take the belief to court. Test it. If you're wrong, what happens? If you're right, what could change? From here, work on inviting contradictions into your life. Crystallized thinking thrives in the familiar. The unfamiliarity can break the cycle. Try saying yes to an idea that you've normally rejected outright, even just for the experience. Engage with people who think in ways that challenge you. You might not agree with them, but they'll widen the canvas that you're painting on. Seeking unconventional input creates cracks where rigidity might otherwise hold fast. It gives you a reason to think differently. Another powerful tool is what I call psychological flexibility. It's a fancy way to say be elastic. Stay open to adapting when new information arrives. Flexibility isn't about becoming unmoored or scattered. It's about being willing to release a firm grip on thoughts that don't serve you. This kind of presence, stay curious and responsive because it sets you free from the binary trap of right and wrong. It helps you shift when life demands it. And remember to lean on others. Sometimes we can't see our own blind spots. So no matter how much self-reflection we do, you need those feedback from a trusted friend, the mirror, a mentor, or an advisor that can be a gentle way to confront these patterns. This doesn't require surrendering your autonomy. On the contrary, hearing someone else's perspective can widen your options and deepen your choices. For organizations and teams, decrystallizing group thinking starts with fostering curiosity. Encourage experimentation and welcome the weird, the overlooked, and the unpolished. Have you noticed how workplaces often suppress out their ideas only to regret it later whenever someone else executes them successfully? Resist that initial impulse to shut things down. That creates a culture of unexpected innovation. But here's the heart of it. Crystallized thinking might seem unbreakable, but it isn't. Slow, steady. You can rewire your mental pathways. You can learn new stories and adopt new behaviors that feel strange at first, but with time, these become the trail and the path. And when you clear the fog of entrenched beliefs, a new landscape appears. Life feels startlingly open again, as if you never known how large life could be. Ask yourself, what assumptions are guiding the way that I live? Are they still helping me, or are they just habits pretending to be truths? Give yourself permission to rewrite your script. You are the author of your life. Why not try drafting a story that excites you? I'm Mark Roach. This is Transcendent, wishing you all the best.